Hi, beautiful souls. It's Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to share with you The Way of the Panda Tarot by Kimberly Tsan, illustrated by Celia Libelle. This is an extremely joyful deck, and I'm really happy to share with you my first impressions. I backed this on Kickstarter, and it was just a wonderful campaign, and so hats off to Kim for her great job with that. This is a two-piece box. It is I have opened it and gone through it a couple of times, so I can offer you some personal feedback on some of the cards. I really like that on the interior of this box, she has credited in some detail the artist. And when a deck creator and the artist work together so closely, it's really a beautiful experience. And throughout the campaign, there were giveaways on Kim's Fables Den Instagram page. And she always made sure that Celia was credited, and you had to like Celia's Instagram page as well. So yeah, this let's just kind of go through this. I have so much to say about the two guidebooks. I have both the extra guidebook as well as the mini guidebook. These card backs are just stunning. So we've got the bamboo and the butterflies and a few other symbols, suns and moons, feathers and things. The cards are silky, they're smooth, they shuffle really well, and I just realized they are completely out of order. So just give me a moment and I will put these back in order for you. Let's begin with the Fool on top of the world. This deck is loosely Rider-Waite-Smith based, so you will recognize some of the symbology from the Rider-Waite-Smith system. But there is an underlying story, and there's a lot of beautiful tales that Kim shares in her Book of Pandas, which we'll get to later. I highly do recommend getting that additional book. It is available on Amazon as well as her website, fablesden.com. Love the Magician with a rainbow painted behind his hat. And there's a little bit of magic going on here. If you look between his paws, he's already creating something for us, a spell perhaps. And this is just stunning. The High Priestess, I love her beaded crown. This reminds me of an Indian adornment. Just stunning. The Empress in the garden with her, or I should not necessarily in the garden, out in nature, in the mountains. And I love that the cob has the wand. These lupins remind me, if there are lupins, remind me of home. I don't know if lupins are found in China or not, but it's a really, you really kind of get that nurturing aspect of the Empress card. Not so much the leader. Here we have the leader, the Emperor, with his scepter astride his log. Almost looks like a broom, like he could be riding through the air. I'm just checking facings here. So the Empress is looking in. Sorry, the Empress is looking out. The High Priestess is looking in. Yeah, we're going in a few different directions here. So that always really helps me anyway with readings. This Hierophant, love him. I love the expression on his face. It's like, please do not ask me any more stupid questions. And I'm definitely going to play with the colors. So the white light on the right ear and the colored light on the left ear. That's going to come into readings. I just know it. I'm really looking forward to doing some readings when he does appear. Or she. Or they. This whole pronoun thing, please, I do not mean to offend anyone in any way. So we have the cherry blossoms perhaps falling in the sky in the Lover's card. And we have a, I'm assuming, a Chinese parasol. This one here, I'm not sure if this is intended to be wings or just the energy of the chariot, right? The saturation of the color is just beautiful. This Strength card really shows a sense of serenity between the two creatures. There's been lots of Disney movies and various things where a mouse and a larger creature have been friends, or you can go to the Ganesh kind of story. Usually the mouse is underneath Ganesh, or the rat, or Ganesh is riding on the rat. But you can just see that oneness and the inner strength and inner confidence that comes from no judgment and working together and all those kind of things. The hermit is just on the edge of his cave. We've got the mushrooms on the outside with the lantern. Again, love her choice of colors. Celia, it's just beautiful. That's right, isn't it? Celia Libelle. And then we have the fair, the carnival, for the Wheel of Fortune. And at first, this one didn't feel quite right to me, but this is meant to be a partially tongue-in-cheek. It's a fun deck, and so I think we kind of need to roll, you know? What goes up must come down. Whether or not it's a sweet life is, right, it's up to you. Your perspective. Justice. And the balance here is represented by the two sides of this orb in the sky. We do have a sword, and then we have darkness here in this part of the bamboo forest. And over here we have could have death, right? Death and life, or dark and light, however you want to see it. And it's so funny. I love how this larger panda is pushing the smaller panda away with the foot. The hanged panda is great. Love the fireflies. So the fireflies illuminate perhaps that which we need to see. And there's also a feather there. So you have an opportunity to bring these little symbols into your reading. And if they connect to adjacent cards, all the better. And here we have a panda sitting in vigil. Kind of really like this take on the death card. And then we have lots of new life arising. Life does go on, and there's this kind of energy in the background, whether this is the soul or the spirit of the panda leaving its body, I'm not sure. Temperance. So this one definitely looks like a garden, a man-made garden. And I don't get the traditional balance of fire and water or anything like that, but it is definitely peaceful. The panda looks very calm, almost as if it's in meditation. And then the devil. So this is quite a brilliant take on the devil card. I did read in the guidebook because I wanted to know Kim's intention for what this was. Of course, it's a trap. The bear is caught in a trap left by man. But she goes a step further in the guidebook to say that it was you who set the trap. And it's you who's on the other side of the chains. And so you have that option to remove the chains. Why did you set the trap in the first place? And I think this is a beautiful segue into all of the shadow aspects of the devil, all the shadow aspects of the second chakra, and anything that you choose to, bring into this card. Really, really good job. In the Tower card, so we have the new life. These are the, I believe, new shoots of bamboo that are arising in the forest. And it looks like the bear is manipulating the fire. And so using the fire for power, for strength. I haven't read this one in the guidebook, but it's definitely a different interpretation, and right, life and death. So let's perhaps go to the larger guidebook and see what Kim has to say about 16 the Tower. Poison. There was poison in the stalk, and it was creeping into the soil like a growing disease, smothering and slowly killing its neighbors. Goodbye, my friend. It was decided, and though it pained him to say so, Zeus knew it must be done. So he fastened his gauntlet, curled his paw into a fist. As pure panda power surged through him, an electrifying storm raged in his chest, and traveled to the rest of his body. He faced the bamboo tree and its sickening structure with determination, and in his paw a bolt of lightning. I am ready now. First there was zap, a roar, a thunderous clap of God, then the sound of bamboo coming undone, shattering into 1,000 splinters, broken bits and pieces tearing and shredding the heavens apart. From the fresh wound, a looming and breathing vacuum, lost hearts darted frantically about like frightened kites in the sky, caught in the whirling chaos of cacophony and destruction. You are the lightning and the thunder, a kung fu panda capable of striking down walls, barriers, mazes, and prison bars. Search and destroy. Courage, dear heart. May the force be with you. Don't step on Lego. I love it when she throws in things like that. Okay. Star. Again, a really beautiful, peaceful card. There's a couple of cards where the panda is actually in the sky, and I think that takes it to a new dimension. And again, here we have another little element that that you could bring in, the metaphor of the dragonflies. This sun card reminds me of an Anne Geddes photo. If you don't know who Anne Geddes is, she did children's portraits. I believe she was an American photographer, and her stuff was quite famous in the 90s, I believe. Yeah. So it does. It looks like a child, an Anne Geddes children's portrait. Judgment. A very, very positive judgment card. It really evokes that sense of lightness and moving through and coming to the next stage, and the whole aspect of transformation, which is one way to interpret the judgment card. And then we have the world card. Playing his flute, or perhaps eating his flute. Eating his bamboo, as pandas like to do. All right, and then we move to the suit of wands. So in the deck, she had them ordered: wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. So we'll look at them in that order. And here we have the magical wand for the Ace of Wands. And a map instead of a globe or the world. This is great with the crystals emerging behind the panda. It's like there's this surgence of energy moving the panda forward. And he's got his party hat on. We see that party hat quite a bit through the deck. This Four of Wands is brilliant. It's about family. It's about that sense of, connection. And there's also a sense of playfulness, right? They're all up in the tree collecting bamboo or doing what pandas do. It does remind me a little bit of the Five of Wands in Tarot of the Hidden Realm. So we have a completely different thing going on in the tree than in that deck. And I love this Five of Wands too. The color choice behind here is perfect. And it has this playfulness to it as well too. So you could really see the, sometimes we take these fives so seriously, but really you chose to get involved in this Five of Wands situation. So you have the choice to laugh and to see the lightness in whatever it is that is going on for you. Here's that party hat, so we can see it from the front. Perhaps a little laurel wreath here, so a little bit of the RWS system. And we have a lot of energy in the background as well as in the foreground. So there's, a lot of things you could pick up on this 6. The 7 is awesome. I love the body posture, the movement. nothing worse than a static looking Seven of Wands. It needs that kind of energy. I have a little trouble with this 8. I know pandas don't move quickly, and we can kind of go to these shooting stars to kind of get that energy. But I guess pandas don't move fast. This is about as fast as they go. So he stopped to have a bite on his way. So you'll have to work with this card in a different way. Perhaps have a really good look at the guidebook to see what her intention is. But it looks more like the 9. And then here's the 9 here. But instead of standing, he's lying down on his back and he's got some kind of bandage on his head. And this 10 it's really good because we have the kind of optimism in the background, and there's a sash, it appears, tying all these branches to his back. But all the panda needs to do is fall out of the tree, put on his party hat, and take a new perspective, right? It's a choice to carry that burden. And here's our first court. So they are really well done. Great sense of playfulness here in the Page of Wands through the color in the trees. The fact that the panda is looking straight forward, moving towards us. You know, no masks. And the night is great too. I knew a lot of Knight of Wands types as young men. Yeah, friends of my son. I think this is done really well, that Knight of Wands. Queen with her sunflowers. And then her king is also great. I like that he is standing. He's got that. We do have a salamander here. Yeah, so the color palette of each of the suits is quite different. So you get quite a bit of yellow and rainbows in this suit here, right? And then we go to Swords, which has more black. And Kim makes quite a few tongue-in-cheek comments about illustrating, about writing the guidebook for this, and writing the guidebook for this suit, and just how chatty these pandas were. There's a lot of books and documents, so lots of references can be made to communication and to different aspects of education or legal work, or whatever the question is. We have a tea cup here with a tea bag in, which is not how Chinese people make tea as far as I know. But we're not Chinese people. We're a panda. And feathers, of course, and birds. But the overall theme and color is significantly darker than the previous suit. We have a book underneath the 3 swords. His glasses are falling off. And the panda's been stabbed in the back. Not the front nor the heart. So you can kind of, work with that. So the panda isn't actually resting. The panda has his glasses on and he has something on his mind. We do need to learn how to step back. This 5, I think, is so funny. The fact that he has a hat on, for one. We have a spilt ink pot, documents flying, the feathers are flying. And much like the 5 of Wands, right, you can see the lighter aspect here. The 6 of Swords I need to look at a little more. I can't decide whether the panda is on a dock floating away, or whether this is meant to be the boat that's floating away. And here we have a lot of either blood or blossoms or something falling here. This also reminds me of Curious George. Do you remember the Curious George book where they were making paper boats? 7. So again, kind of a tongue-in-cheek attitude to the Seven of Swords. And then you can bring in actually the peacock feathers too. So if you know the medicine of the peacocks or something about the peacock comes to your attention, you can go away with that. This 8 is quite good. I like how the bear is leaning over the tree and facing down, right? Kind of like the reverse of the hanged bear pose, but definitely just the body language rather than just standing there with a blindfold it's about, okay, I need to figure this out and I need to figure this out now. Great 9 of Swords, Mama Bear holding the bear, assuring baby bear there are no monsters under the bed. Actually, I could comment more on that, but so this 10, you know, I just see this almost looks like this is a stuffed panda. This is not an actual panda. This is a stuffed panda. The seam has come undone and the stuffing has come out. That's hilarious. In the mirror here, there is something. I don't think this is broken glass. It might be because we've got a little bit of glass here. But the first time I looked at this, I thought, oh, there's something reflected in the mirror. What is being reflected in the mirror? But now I do think these are shards of glass here. I love the Page of Swords. It just makes me smile. And if Page of Pentacles is your go-to page for the whole, you know, education, back to school thing, let's just have a look. I'll just grab the Page of Pentacles now. So the Page of Pentacles is more about the younger aspect of self or child that is connected to the earth. So we've got this one here more as the, if you read kind of the back to school studying kind of thing, Page of Swords is the one in this deck that kind of will take you in that direction. And I know it varies from deck to deck for sure. Knight of Swords, love it. And look at he's got the air symbol on his necklace. Queen of Swords has so much attitude, as does your baby bear. I think it's really important. There's a couple of quite complacent Queen of Swords I've seen recently in decks that I've been looking at, and it's like, she needs to have attitude. And then there's the King. And of course, he has a tie on. Okay, so here's the last two suits. We'll start with the Ace of Cups. When I first saw this, I thought the panda was crawling up and going into the cup, and I was confused. According to the guidebook, the panda is coming out. So the panda has put all of its love into the cup and is now moving away. So lots of butterflies and optimistic colors. There are gemstones on the cup. This Three of Cups looks like they've had a little too much panda juice. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. Yeah. And there's a few cards that are very Rider-Waite-Smith. And this one is one. But the optimism, right? Look at the optimism here. All you got to do is accept what's being offered. Oh, so many times we forget that's the solution. We just need to turn around. The solution is right there. Take help from somebody. And I love the dandelion spores. The fact that they're hugging each other. They already know, right? They already know that 2 cups are full. And this is going to pass. And anything can happen if we just focus on the potential. 6 of Cups. So like the moon card, was it? The panda is in the sky, or appears like the panda's in the clouds. So that's an easy metaphor to be working with that card. And then we have the 8. And here we have a rather optimistic 8. So instead of, I find often that there's a lot of sadness around the 8 of Cups, but here the panda is understanding that it's time to go. And the transformation lies in the opposite direction. Beautiful wall of flowers here. So like the traditional RWS deck where there's a kind of a curtain with the cups on top of the table, we have that here. And the 10, very playful. Yeah, so the cup suit is just full of flowers and joy and life. I love this page. Daisy. Don't you just want to hug that little panda? Okay. And there's your knight with his heart on his sleeve, his rose on his sleeve. Queen and king. And so the final cup has a lotus emerging. It's pretty special. So this deck is, this suit is very much about transformation, lots of butterfly energy. And then we have the pandas who like to eat. So the pentacle pandas. And the color in this suit is gold and green. So lots of bamboo, and the gold of the pentacles is definitely highlighted. So there's a mood to each of the suits. And here's another flute playing, bamboo eating panda. The hammock is so cute. And they're sharing their bamboo. 3 of Pentacles. In some of these cards, you can see that the pentacles, the thread goes through the center, like in a Chinese coin or a Japanese coin. That's kind of a cool little feature. The lotus comes up in quite a few of the cards, and it'd be really interesting to pull all of the cards that have the lotus symbol in them and then kind of tie that energy together and see about that. Same with the butterflies, because the butterflies are not just in the cup of suits. And here we have, okay, so there's scales. So again, a little bit different take on this, the whole giving, receiving, which side are you on? This looks a little to me more like a, I don't know, like a 10 of cups, or without the scale, of course. Or even a 6 of cups, where the mother is looking at the child saying, oh, I wish I could be rolling around playing, acting like a goof, but I can't do that anymore because I've got all my mummy responsibilities. Our fishing panda here, sitting patiently, quietly, knowing that time and space and patience are all gifts. And this panda is pretty focused on that pentacle. So we're going to thread that pentacle. The key phrase for this card is the one that's on the box. And it's level up. Going up to the next level of your game. And I think that's a great, great metaphor for this card. It's time to level up. Amp up your game. 9. Oh, I love the artwork. I really do. I didn't realize how watercolory this deck was going to be, and as you know, I do like my watercolor art. I have several happy decks in my collection, and I rarely use them. I rarely do readings with young people. I rarely pull them out, but I think this is the deck I'm actually going to work with for a little while. It's making me feel very, very joyful. And of course, I will need to spend some time looking for an oracle deck to pair with it. Soul Trees comes to mind, but I would like to find something else. Page, which I showed you before. And we have a bamboo shoot here. So I think the bamboo shoots are also important to recognize as new beginnings. This knight is pretty focused on whatever's going on here. Don't know if this is a game or something that needs to be looked after. Queen. I believe all of the queens have had a cub in the picture, in the art. And the king. He looks pretty happy with all his colorful bamboo in front of him. So the only other cards you haven't seen, unless of course you've seen another walkthrough or you have this deck yourself, are the 4 additional cards. And I don't know if they're going to be available in the mass, oh, it's not mass market. She's doing a second run of the deck, and you can pre-order it now on Kim's website. It's called The Fables Den, I believe, or just fablesden.com. And they are really great. So the witchy panda has her sage here. She's got her moon bracelet. There's just so much symbology. It's really fun. There's more sage here in the pot, crystals, candles, incense. I love it. And for today's reading, I'm going to throw these in into the deck. The caffeinated panda. The stargazing panda. And the dream space. And I don't know if you can see on the camera, but this is a heart, a crystal, a faceted crystal heart, it looks like. And then there's branches here. Anyway, beautiful. You could also see this too as this kind of beam of energy coming into the crown chakra of the panda. No idea if that was intended. So I'm going to just kind of move those into the deck, and we'll do a shuffle. And if you have an idea for a tarot deck, not a tarot deck, an oracle deck to pair with this, let me know. It shuffles beautifully, and I will be riffle shuffling this deck and working this deck. The sides, you can see that the backs show through, and I'm not sure if I would edge this deck or not. At first, I thought pink or edging it in. I think there's an ink color called bamboo, and I would edge it in that, but probably won't. Oh, and I was going to show you the guidebooks. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick 3-card reading. So if you want to hang around for that, or you can fast forward. This is the extra book. It's available on Amazon right now. And I see there's 2 versions. There's one with a blue here and this one. Yeah, Kim did so much work with this book. I took the panda personality quiz, and I'm on the 3rd level of a panda. My inner panda is strong, apparently. Not part of my human skin, but oh, I just burned my book. Or I put out the candle. Didn't burn the book. Sorry for the smoke. Anyway, that was kind of fun. What I wanted to show you was that for each of the major cards, there is a spread. So if you want to work with the energy of, for example, the Strength card, or if that is kind of the theme of your reading, she has 3-card spreads. Some of them are bigger, and questions to kind of work with the energy of the Strength card. So for example, what is something that challenges you and gives you a hard time? What is your unique source of strength that gives you a mark of a hero and sets you apart? And how can you best unleash your power and channel your spirit? So if you had a question that was representative of one of the majors, there's a spread for each of those. And then for the minors, at the beginning of each of the suits, there's a description of the suit in general. So the suit of wands are the fire pandas. Fearless and unstoppable. Learn their Panda Fu. And at the end of this section, there is a ritual for activating your inner fire panda, which is fun. And then there's a spread for each of the suits. So if you want to kind of work with a more energetic spread, you're going to use this one. If you want to do a love spread, there's a spread for the cups and so on and so forth. So it's a really kind of cool, very deck specific, high quality paper guidebook. The little white book that comes with the deck is also really well done, different paper. And this is all in English, so it's a substantial little white book. Battling Your Panda Shadows. I'm just going to flip through this so you can see. And in neither of these books do you get cards, which I just noticed. So for the air pandas, let's just see. You get a short description, and then you get about a half a page, a panda message and light and shadow attributes for each of the minors. And then at the back of this, you get a few of the spreads that are in the larger book. Keep calm and panda on. And this little paw logo here is the logo that's on the bag. And I don't know if she's still offering the bag, but this is the bag that I got with my Kickstarter. It's a really heavy cotton bag. Really nice. So yeah, so let's shuffle and pull 3 cards. And I think we'll do one of the spreads that's in here. So I'm just going to randomly flip through and pick one. All right, so we're going to do the panda spread for the moon card. And the first question is, what is tugging at your conscious mind and in need of exploration right now? So if you want to kind of bring that energy to mind and focus on that question. What is tugging at your conscious mind and in need of exploration right now? Okay, I did shuffle many more times. I just took a few of the shuffles out of the edit. Okay. So whether you are aware or unaware of this, so we have, that's pretty apropos, 9 of Swords. So whatever's plaguing you right now is very much in your mind. And so the, for me, for working with all of the clients that I've worked with, the whole, how can we get out of that airy, how can we bring the excessive air into balance, really is the question. And depending on how this is manifesting for you, whether it's actually sleepless nights, whether it's making you unable to work or in some smaller ways affecting your life, we need to bring the element of air into balance. So you need to ground. You need to connect to the earth, whatever that means for you. So if that means that you just every single day are going to take off your shoes and socks and go put your feet on the grass, then that's going to help. If eating root vegetables, making yourself some more hearty meals is going to help, then that's what you need to do. If you're a crystal person, or if you would like to explore crystals, then that, that possibly could help bring you some balance and some peace. We need to remove the excessive air. We need to bring the excessive air into balance. And so we don't want to fuel it with fire, because fire is going to make it go out of control. We want to ground, and we can bring in a little water, but not too much, okay? So the next question is, what's lurking in the lunar scapes of your mind, and what is secretly driving your desires, your fears, your impulses, and your choices? All right, so maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to have a family. Maybe you're obsessed with, getting pregnant or something. Maybe we could take a lesson from the pandas in that all we really need to do is to, take life a little more playfully, and to, bring out our inner panda. What can you do to stop taking this more seriously? To stop taking this so seriously. The kind of energy I'm getting here is one of playfulness. So do you need to take a week off work? Do you need to, I don't know, let go of something so you don't feel so burdened? And right, so if this is kind of all you can think about, it's time for you to, give yourself some space and to let yourself feel joyful. There's other ways besides what you are obsessing about. So it might not be pregnancy or something you're obsessing about, but there's something about this picture that's probably going to come up for you. Instead of obsessing about that, just kind of feel the energy of the joyfulness. What other ways can you bring joy into your life? And the last question is, what stories control you, and what can you do to release them and integrate them? Well, I've kind of already addressed that. And what you can do is you can let go of this, right? Stop obsessing about the, whatever it is you're, like, this has got to come to an end for your wellness, for your well-being, for your mental health. You need to let go of what it is, whatever it is you've been like hoping and wishing for and obsessing about. That I'm sure you've heard, like when people are trying to get pregnant and then they stop trying and then all of a sudden they get pregnant. That's kind of the message here. So maybe you are focused on, like, you want to buy a house, and every time the deal has fallen through and it hasn't happened, right? Stop obsessing about it. Do something else. Go away. Turn around 180 degrees and try something else and forget about it for a while. I think it's very significant that the Death card is here, and this is kind of a loud and clear message. We also have a 10 here, right? And this is an end of a cycle, that you need to kind of give up on what you have been obsessing about, because it is not serving you. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. And please let me know what you think of this deck. If you're already using it, how is it working for you? I look forward to reading your comments and questions below. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.